Hi Phil, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Will. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. I've noticed we're wearing very matchy outfits today.
Must be telepathic.
However, for those listening, you won't be able to see, so that's probably for the best. Um, it's actually our 101st episode, so it's quite a big milestone for us. Um, but yeah, I guess I wanted to really start by recapping. I mean, it's been a while since we launched the very first podcast, which is probably just over a year ago. Um, and to start with the question of how do you feel the current state of sales education is since we first began this journey?
Well, I'm not sure necessarily the podcasts that we've been doing are directly linked to sales education, but I think that that the world in education moves pretty slowly, to be honest. If you start to look at, if we define education as being academic sales education, which is, I think, what you're asking about. As far as the undergraduate and postgraduate market's concerned, at least in the UK, I don't think it's changed a huge amount since we started developing our interest into this area, in spite of the government initiatives around sales apprenticeships and so on. Big uptake in level 4 and level 3 apprenticeships, which I think is a good thing. And you could say, well, it is, if you like, education in the sense that it's based on assessed work and knowledge and skills being realized. So I guess it has been a pretty big jump forward. But in terms of undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, we still haven't seen, you know, any other players in the marketplace, at least in the UK.
Mm.
I think in the States, of course, we've already got quite a number of universities that are pursuing sales education programs at undergraduate and a few at postgraduate levels. But compared to other marketplaces and other functions, it's still relatively embryonic. And I think we just got to be patient and committed to this vision that we have to help make sales the world's most sought after profession, of which
Mm.
education is an important component. So, we're very happy with progress that we've made, since those early days,
Yeah.
learning all the time. We've got an amazing client range now who are participating on the program. We're seeing fantastic stories of undergraduates doing well in their sales careers. We have amazing retention rates on the program. Just, there's a lot that's going right in it, but I still feel we're right at the beginning of a
Mm.
journey which we're very excited to be on, but it's still a long way to go.
It is. I guess if I cast you back to one of the very first podcast episodes, and the reason for the question is at the time we felt there was a strong need, wasn't there, to almost educate people on the difference between sales training and sales education.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I kind of perceive that word education as being, too academic and not practical. But we've now sort of demonstrated that education can go very much hand in hand with practical business performance improvement.
Mm.
Because what it does is it gives a structure to the way people think. This is what education does. It gets people to think more critically. It gets people to think in more depth. And a lot of the job of a salesperson is problem solving and critical thinking. So yeah, I think that we can very comfortably challenge anyone who questions whether an academic program is not practical and hands on. But yeah, we did
Yeah.
have those concerns at the beginning, but as each year progresses, as each cohort completes, and we have evidence now of the impact that students are making for their companies, I think we can absolutely say, and employers can say, yeah, it's been a fantastic addition to the sales development world.
Yeah, it certainly has been. And some of the, I think the application of sales education and the way that it relates to an individual's job role really does make, really does mark out the difference between sort of sales training and sales education, because you're applying theoretical knowledge to your role and practice in your workplace. And that really stretches one's individual thinking, but also almost allows for a space to try out new things and to innovate and to, you know, probably push yourself out of your comfort zone somewhat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we've got some incredible stories that I certainly can attest to. Just from your point of view, because you're Dr. Phil Squire, you're quite often at the front of a classroom delivering to our students, certainly at the master's and the postgraduate diploma level. And I'm just wondering if you've noticed more recently kind of any shifting trends that you're seeing people researching and people applying their kind of studies to. Has there been any shifting trends?
Um, well, there's no doubt that the role of coaching and leadership is something that sales leaders and sales managers are very interested in researching more deeply, because it affects an area of what they do that they can have control over.
Hmm.
But I really think that where the research for the future needs to take place is around this whole, what we call cracking the code in module 2, which is sort of managing the business of selling, because we're now beginning to see these seismic shifts in how things are done through artificial intelligence, which is going to have a huge impact on sales and a huge impact on the sales profession. Someone said to me the other day that they felt the advent of AI can be compared to, in terms of impact on the world and humanity, is as big as climate change. And
Sure.
we haven't quite taken that concept. I don't think we've taken that sort of concept on board. Those that know it and those that can see its benefits and also some of its challenges, its problems, are on the one hand very excited by it, and the other hand it is sort of rather worried about it.
Hmm.
So for me, I think that yes, coaching and so on has been a focus for research, and that's definitely been a popular research topic. What we're now beginning to see is more interest into this whole area of systems, predictive analytics, ways in which we can leverage technology to improve the productivity of a sales organization. And we're now beginning to see organizations rethink the structures of the sales force according to the way they can leverage some of these technologies to manage the sales process perhaps um, more efficiently.
Yeah. And it has been interesting to see. I mean, we've got a couple of students that have written their final dissertations on the implication of AI within their organization. And so we're seeing this kind of, I think we all understand, we all know that AI is going to impact our roles somehow, but we don't know how yet. We don't know. It's still emerging. But it is interesting that students are already, using the master's program, especially to focus in on the impact AI will have on their sales teams
Yeah.
within their organizations, and where that research is taking them is fascinating. I'm sure we're going to see more of this as we move
Yeah,
into next year.
we are. I mean, we're also developing, in terms of the business that we're in. looking at how AI could be used by our students to kind of do more effective research, and how we can link AI in terms of a first level of critical analysis with what students now can make sense of
Mm.
using their own sort of knowledge, their own wisdom, if you like. So I think that, the way that it's going to impact sales is massive, but it's also going to have a huge impact on Consalia and how we do work, and the tools that we can provide our students to help them become more productive and get what they need more quickly. But at the same time, we need to get smart on what sort of ethical frameworks we're going to have and how AI is being used.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited that we've got Lenny Montero, who's one of our alumni, actually talking. I think possibly he is one of the very early academic researchers on this whole topic of ethics and ethical frameworks. And he's done a global research project that he's going to share at GST next week. So yeah, it's all exciting stuff. But I think we're seeing a new era emerge. Be interesting to know what Gillian Birkinshaw would make of this next new era. But I suspect it's going to accelerate agility because we're going to have to think quickly. And it's going to, in a way, reinforce what we've talked about in the past, democracy. Where does the humanity fit within the context of doing business in the future in a world which is very, what's the word, AI-led? Yeah. So I think
That sounds like a very good topic for anyone listening to this, wondering how they should, what their final project should be for their masters.
it's massive. It's
It
really
is massive.
Yeah. We've got
Well, maybe Phil, you should look into it.
I I think what we're talking about now is a future in which I will no longer be part of, in the
No,
sense of looking at the transformation that's going to take place. But it's going to be absolutely incredible.
it really will.
Yeah.
So if we're moving into this AI-driven era, for want of a better term, I don't think Birkinshaw has named this era yet.
No, but I think you could find ways of aligning this technology into this whole AI agility space.
Yeah,
Which he calls it adhocracy. It's just another thing that we have to deal with. And the way that decision making is going to be made is going to change. The way that organization structure, it's going to change. So I think I think that the sales profession has really got to be on top of this, because it's going to affect us as salespeople for sure, both positive and negatively, I would imagine.
yeah.
But we don't know what we don't know at the moment, which makes it sort of an interesting world ahead of us.
Operating in a world of uncertainty, I think, is the new norm. We've been talking about it
Yeah.
for quite some time, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, from what I'm hearing from you is there's AI is going to be impacting how we sell, how we learn, for Consalia, how we deliver, how we leverage information. So kind of, move to more customer-centric approaches.
Yeah.
There's so many different facets of how it can be leveraged, but there really is like this undeniable need to to leverage digital in our space, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Massive. Yeah.
And I think that's also what's informing where we're as a company moving to as well. And I think for Consalia, we really understand the need to provide programs and modular content online. I just want to get your thoughts on that and the direction that Consalia is moving in.
Yeah, it's a massive step that we've recently taken with Consalia Online. We've been planning for this. We've been talking about it. We've been testing it. We've been evaluating it. We've been working with customers on it. it's been an 18-month, 2-year kind of journey to get to this particular point. And I think that, we're sort of driven by two things. One is that we have a vision to make sales the world's most sought after profession. And if we really embrace that particular notion, we need to make our attempts at professionalizing sales global and not local and international. And we also need to take into consideration developing economies. We've got sort of in this world of globalization, huge economies growing, whether it's in Africa or in Asia, uh, or the Americas. How can we take some of the learnings from our academic programs and how can we make this more accessible for people who don't have access to these kind of very high end, exec level, highly experiential processes. So we've been looking at this whole digital world with a lot of interest. And I must admit that one of the things that I've always been looking at, and it comes back to a question that was relevant even as we created the masters, which is, but does it work? Is it possible to create an online experience that is involving, is engaging, and how can you create the sort of magic of the classroom? To be honest, it's impossible to do it completely because you don't have the people element. So we've been asking ourselves, what are the different ways in which we can design online content where people feel as though they're talking to human beings, but within a self-learning environment where people can pick up modular content, do programs online, complete it, and have their work potentially tested. And so this is what we've been working on. And, fortunately, we've been led in a way down this path by clients who are also interested in how can we scale the content? How can we make what happens in the classroom much more, giving us a higher return so that we focus on sort of transforming the way people work in the classroom, but we provide maybe knowledge blocks of content that could be delivered in a very engaging online way. So we've been developing our online portfolio with this in mind, in part led by client demand, but in part led by our vision ultimately to be able to offer some of our academic programs fully online and fully asynchronously. So here we're talking about the possibility of people being able to graduate with a BSc, or an MSc program from anywhere in the world, having access to modular content, but without having to come over to London, to take part in the program, but having access to tutors and a skilled resource to help them on their way. Now, we know this can be done. We know that it's possible to do. And we're working towards that kind of aim in mind. But of course, one has to navigate the choppy waters of education systems and validation of content. And we need to make sure that whatever experience we create is one that people who start on this 3-year journey, let's say, or a 2-year kind of journey actually stick with it and
Yeah.
and complete the program and become successful. So yeah, I don't think one of the values we have is quality plus plus, and it's something that perhaps holds us back in terms of launching things, new ideas to the market. But actually it is terribly important that whatever we do, as I said at the very beginning, it works. And we feel encouraged by the work we've done over the last 18 months with clients, it's amazing that that we've even seen the Princess Royal Award, which combined the online experience with face to face. We call this Online Plus, in order to deliver a hugely impactful sales performance result. So yeah, we feel we're at a critical point in Consalia's history, sort of moving into this digital age, very much keeping our core values at the center of what we do, but wanting to go online with this purpose of helping make sales the world's most sought after profession.
Absolutely, and I think it's a really interesting time to be on this journey as well, especially considering the advent of what we were discussing earlier with the with the use of AI and how that is going to potentially really really drive the learning experience forward in the future, and how people want to learn and how people want to engage with content. And I think, as what you were kind of alluding to, is that we're only at the we're at the embryonic start of this journey. If the end goal is to potentially offer masters, offer BSc programs that are delivered through a wholly online experience, then what we currently have are a series of modular content that has been inspired from our academic programs, to see if they can be applied to organizations and add value. And I think, yeah, from what we've experienced and like what you've said, the feedback has been amazing. And to have one of our customers be awarded the Princess Royal Training Awards for an online inspired program is testament to the quality that we've
Yeah,
delivered on the
and
online program.
yes, I have been surprised at the impact that some of these modules have made. With a large number of people who've gone through the program, in terms of citing the models and frameworks that they get access to. The way
Perhaps you can expand a bit on the kind of models and the modular content that we currently have.
Well, we have a module that so much of our work is based around values and belief systems, and so we have a module which is around called Harnessing Power Within, which is really designed to help people get connected with their core values and belief systems. And so someone who's been on that module will then come into the work environment sort of talking about what their personal values and belief systems are, and how this connects with the values and belief systems that customers are looking for from salespeople. We have a module which is looking at habits for success, where we get people to look at what habits do you have that you think that hold you back, what habits do you think you need to build moving forward. We give simple frameworks around how do you deal with some of the obstacles in your life. We have a WHOOP model that looks at wish and outcome and obstacle, and so on. And so people talk about the WHOOP model when they talk in meetings. So these are very simple frameworks. We get people to look at how their time is being managed into the different time quadrants, building upon some of Stephen Covey's work, for example. So we have these kind of frameworks and models that help them through the link between values and beliefs. How do you build those into habits? How does it impact how you use your time? So these are very much modules that are geared around more personal efficiency. And then we have a whole set of modules which are around the sales mindset. And, we know that this is core to Consalia. We have an amazing winning value proposition program built around third box thinking and all sorts of tools that we have there, the solution development matrix, how to put winning value propositions together. We have financial acumen modules. Those are really knowledge-based and designed to equip salespeople with the knowledge required to be able to look at balance sheets and P&L accounts and understand the impact of discounting. And it's incredible what, you hear people coming into a workshop, having done these modules, talking about how they've used all of these tools to improve what they do. So I don't know, I've touched on a few of them. I know there are loads more, but they're very well put together, these modules, and they're very relevant for people involved in sales. So
And I think that's what perhaps I'm biased because I'm Consalian, but what I really like about the online modules is the way that they remain core to reflective practice.
yeah,
And for anyone that isn't aware of Consalia, we are strong believers in reflective practice
that's true.
and critical reflection. And one thing that I think marks Consalia Online is that we encourage people to reflect on their current situations and to input for themselves the information that is contextual to their environments within the online modules.
And we've got at the core of all the design of these modules, we have Libby Drake, who's been with us since the time Consalia was created, who's the most phenomenal learning designer, and she's qualified in this. She's got a degree in learning design, and she really understands how to develop content so that it sticks. And then we have Dr. Laura Crane, who's the expert on sort of building the online content. So these two ladies are doing an amazing job in taking an idea, a learning journey you want to take a student on. Like you say, putting in exercises of reflection, giving people the chance to input stuff, to get PDF outputs from it so you can engage with the content. We've also had voiceovers on these online modules, and subtitles. So for people who can't speak English fluently, you have the chance to be able to follow the content potentially with the online modules. So yeah, I mean, I think that so much thought has gone into not just what we do, but how we do it in a way to create stickability as far as learning is concerned. It will never
Absolutely.
replace the classroom, that's for sure. But it's a fantastic support to what goes on in the classroom. And if organizations out there, you've got 5,000 or 6,000 people that you want to be more sort of sales orientated, more sales focused, have more of a sales mindset, which everyone should have. It's a very, very good way to be able to get some of the commonality of key language communicated across large numbers of people. So, yeah, we see it as being an important tool to help promote this professionalism in sales, embracing not only the key account salespeople, but all people who are involved in customer related situations.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, the reason why we wanted to kind of speak about it on this podcast is because we felt now was the right time, didn't we? We had internal discussions about it. So over the last 12 months, 18 months or so since we've been developing and trialing, we've gone through a rigorous testing process.
Yeah,
And currently we've had about 400
I know.
users go through our learning content,
Amazing.
which is
400 users already. It's
it's
incredible.
incredible.
And I was
Yeah.
also struck with the mindset survey, with having over 1,000 people now complete just the mindset survey. So we're getting, a lot of traction with these sort of online related tools. And the ability to assess people's mindsets as they go through the program is just fantastic. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm very excited by it. I just wish I was 30 years younger, Will.
You're young at heart. You're only as old as you feel. Um, so where are we heading? What's next on the horizon? I know you've mentioned the modules that we've got, such
Yeah,
as the ones on values, habits, harnessing power in, the financial module, inspiring a sales mindset for growth,
yeah,
and the selling mindsets module, WVP. These are all online modules that we currently have developed, have been tested, have been tried. Um, but what's on the horizon?
I mean, there's there are two things that are affecting the strategy around
Hmm.
product development. One is driven by customer demand. So where we get customers wanting us to build content, often we can see what they're wanting us to do, and we can see that it could be something that other organizations would want as well. So that could take us down to topics like emotional intelligence, which is such an interesting topic, and selling resilience, or resilience in sales, and how do you build more resilience, how do you manage personal change, and so on. So we're seeing sort of modules like these, sort of in the, if you like, the production line, for new modular content. But the strategic view comes back to what we were discussing earlier, which is to build modular content that can support the eventual development of what we've got within our BSc 3-year sales degree, and be able to build that into an online.
So just the BSc or also the other
Well,
programs?
I mean, yeah, I think with it, that's obviously where we see the volume, but and that makes sense for us to focus on that area. And so our strategy is to look at the current curriculum of the undergraduate degree and say, well, what of this can we now deliver in a digital format and an online format? But how can we digitize that? Some of them we've already done it, like our digital selling module, which Steve has put together. Fantastic. That's one of the modules that we have that's now fully digital, fully online, if you like. It used to be a classroom-based delivery. Now it's not. It's online. But we've got other modules. Introduction to selling could be delivered as an online module. That's in the production line. So yeah, there's going to be, so that's our sort of strategy. It's,
Yeah.
I think the great thing that we've got is the intellectual property that we have in the academically accredited program is a fantastic foundation to build this modular content. No other sales training organization has it. Yeah, because we're the only ones that are currently doing it, apart from maybe some organizations in the US. So yeah, no, it's we're very excited. We're in a good spot. We are always looking to innovate and try out new things. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've answered your question about.
No, you certainly have. And I just wanted to reiterate, so our direction is to create academically proven programs. That's our North Star. But we sit on a huge amount of research,
We
as
do.
we are a sales education company and a consulting practice, that if anyone who's reviewing our online modular content, and they're kind of inspired to pick up the phone and speak to us to see whether or not we can develop anything else, that's also an option.
It is, yeah.
And we would be open to have that discussion, because it's, we want to develop stuff that is meaningful for our client base.
That's true. And I think that you mentioned something also that's really, really exciting. When we started the master's program, we had this idea of Consalia being an incubation center, because it's a research-based place where students' research could potentially lead on to even products. So we had this idea that this may happen. We now have a situation where it has happened. And I'm talking here about the amazing work that Grant has done with his final project, with his personal change model, Scared So What, where he's developed a book and he's developed an app to help people manage change at a personal level. And so one of the and Grant's Scared So What module will be one of those that would sit within our online solution, his learning solution that's connected with his app. This is fantastic because it's like, I think you mentioned the word earlier, sort of a circular economy in a way. We have our students doing this work. We want to provide a platform for them to flourish. And this Consalia Online is potentially a place where students' ideas, whether it's new coaching models, whether it's new predictive analytics ideas, whether it's new training and development frameworks, if they can find a home to bring their innovation to the marketplace, we're very, we just want to help them. We want our students to flourish.
Absolutely. And, one thing that we really care about is learning reach.
It is.
We understand the ripple effects of one's learning and how it affects other people. And if anyone has an idea and, like Grant wants to kind of take it to the next level, then, that's what we love. We love to support the sales profession as a whole.
Absolutely.
And what's more, if it works, we'll encourage you to submit to the Peter Critton Award.
Well, we haven't spoken about Peter Critton Award. That's a totally different topic. But
it is.
Yeah.
But I guess because of the reach that's
that's true.
The reach that you need. So if anyone's interested in Consalia Online, wants to research it, wants to see the impact of some of the kind of online interventions that we've had, we've got case studies on our website. But yeah, Phil, where can people see it, and how can people find out more information about our Consalia Online offering?
Well, I'm sure Eddie will be putting in the show notes the kind of links to Consalia Online, and that's probably the best place to go initially. If anyone's listening to this anywhere in the world and they want to get access to any of the online content, we have got an amazing gateway to enable anyone to be able to subscribe to the programs and to get access to the online content. So if they would like to get advice as to which modules to do, they can pick up the phone or email us and ask us. But yeah, we're very pleased about the sort of gateway portal. It enables us to be able to work with anyone in the world, no matter where they're located, in terms of them getting access to the content.
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about it, go to consalia.com. There's Consalia Online there. We're on social media. We're quite prolific. Thank you, Eddie. But if you wanted to drop either myself, so Will Squire, or Phil Squire, or anyone within the Consalia team a direct message on LinkedIn or something, then we'll be sure to follow up. But we're really excited about this journey we're on. And actually, what we want to do is offer a 30% early bird access for the next couple of weeks up until the 15th of December. So if you want to try us out at a discounted price, now's a good time.
Brilliant. Well, thank you.
Thanks a lot.